Welcome to Life and Times of Cato. I am your host, Jay Cato, and in today's segment, I do want to discuss, just conversations and observations that you have with people on the daily basis. And sometimes you might get that unsuspecting information. Now, with that being said, I was having a conversation with this guy the other day. He's a white guy, just to kind of set you up for what's about to go down. And anyway, he's a white guy. We're having this conversation talking about general stuff. I was at work. That's what I do for a living. We communicate with people. And basically that's how, we close a sale. The more we know about you, the more we're able to close sales. And that's basically what we do. But in any event, I'm having this conversation with this gentleman who happens to be a white guy. And, in having this conversation, we're talking about regular stuff. So then, he hits me with, yeah, I love black women. Just taken back by it, right? Just like, well, it's unsuspecting information, right? And there's nothing about that, right? There's no ways about that. And, it shouldn't feel a way about that. But it's odd enough that when it happens, you just like, oh shit, and it happens both ways, right? So if a black dude tells you, oh, I like white women, wait, what? And again, people to people, it doesn't make a difference. But it's just funny that when that happens, you kind of like you're a little bit in shock. You're just like, wait, what? You know? Um, and in any event, and just thinking about that and having that conversation and thinking about that, I was just like, why do we feel that way in society? That when people give you information that way, you just kind of like, oh, it's interesting. Why is it interesting? People doesn't matter, right? But here's where it gets even more interesting, right? You kind of when you think about Hispanics, such as myself, if I told you, hey, I like white women, or if I like black women, right? It kind of flies under the radar, right? It's just kind of like, makes sense, and it's just the way, right? It's odd that that's just the way it goes that way. Now, with even having that conversation, you know, those who don't know anything about my wife at all, who have never seen pictures of my wife and, just unaware, they assume, that my wife is Hispanic, right? And again, that assumption it shouldn't exist, right? You shouldn't assume anything, but people do. As a Hispanic guy, a Spanish dude, probably has a Spanish wife, right? My wife is white and Chinese. Now, when I say that though, the reaction's always like, what? Wow, and I always have the same thought when that happens. It's like, why is it wow? Like, what's so wow about that? Am I not qualified to have a white and Chinese? Well, I didn't realize that there was qualifications for it. You know what I'm saying? Those are just odd things that you see on the day-to-day basis. You know, um, even when I show a picture, it's like, oh, I want to show you a picture of my family. Look at my family. My wife and my children. I'll show a picture of my wife, and people always just kind of be like, oh, she's pretty. What? It's like, um, she should be pretty. That's why I married. It's one of the reasons why I married her. She should be pretty, right? And then it goes even further because I'm an overthinker, and I start thinking about these things like, wait, what? Why shouldn't she? Am I not good looking enough to have a pretty wife? Were you expecting me to have an ugly wife? Right, right. So these are the things that people do that is just like, they're unsuspecting, and it's just odd, unsuspecting information, and I'll give you another one. Um, as you already know, I've been married for 20 years. I have 4 children. So now with that, I tell them, hey, listen, I've been married to my wife for 20 years. Wow, that's nice. It's impressive. Yeah, I got 4 kids. 4 kids. Wow, that's a lot of kids. That's first of all. Why is that? Okay. Feel like there's a little, anyway. They're like, with the same lady? Yeah, with the same lady, same wife, married 20 years. Wow, that's nice. And again, it's just you kind of sit there and you're looking around like, I'm not sure if I should take that as a compliment or like, are you expecting? Is there like a suspecting of me not having the same baby mother? Right? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Um, but anyway, those are just odd, funny things that you see from everyday conversations that you have with people. You get this unsuspecting piece of information sometimes. You're just like, wow. One time I met a guy who sold ships, ships like boats. You think to yourself, and shit, how do you fall, how do you, there's no fucking school to sell ships. It turns out he fell into it anyway, but I'm just saying, just odd information. I met a dude that one time worked for Columbia Records, right? Just run into people and they give you unsuspecting information. You say, oh shit, you know. Anyway, that's my story and my observation or conversation for the day. Do what you do it well, do it the best way you know how. I am Jay Cotto. I am out.